telling her, don't take out, she's still taking out.
अच्छा, it's live now, huh? जरा सा वो लगा देते हैं, ये लगा देती हूँ, चार्जर लगा देती
the same, huh? Shama एक सलवात पढ़ा दे.
मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद बाबा से बदन सलवार अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद. बिस्मिल्लाह मिनश शैतानिर रजीम. बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम.
कल का तकिया कहाँ से दी थी?
नहीं यार साइमा ऑन कर दे बेटा. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. रुया अन फातिमा ज़हरा अलैहिस्सलाम बिन्त रसूलिल्लाह काला समिअतु फातिमा अन्नहा क़ालत दख़ला अलैया बि रसूलिल्लाह फी बाज़िल अय्याम फ़क़ाल अस्सलामु अलैकि या फातिमतु फ़क़ुलतु अलैकुस्सलाम क़ाल इन्नी अजिदु फी बदनी ज़ौफ़न फ़क़ुलतु लहु उईदुका बिल्लाहि या अबताहु من الظروف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلألأ كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قال وقال السلام عليك يا أماه وقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء. صلوات اللهم صل على فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معكما تحت الكساء. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت عليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عمي رسول الله فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب اللواء قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء. صلوات اللهم صل على محمد. ثم آتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتزن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء سلوات فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وعامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي ويؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنا غرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلاتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد.
فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مطوية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمس مضية ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء خمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبريل يا رب ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها ومالها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على
فقال جبريل يا رب أتزن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون مؤمنا سادسا. فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبريل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرض مدنية ولا قمر منيرا ولا شمس مضية ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين ولي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبريل معنا تحت الكساء سلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. صلى
اللهم صل على محمد.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد.
فقال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يا علي والذي بعثني
بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين وفيهم محمود إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مهموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته فقال علي عليه السلام إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فاصل وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الدعوى
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أسألك بحق محمد وأنت المحمود وبحق علي وأنت الأعلى وبحق فاطمة وأنت قاتل السماوات والأرض وبحق الحسن وأنت الحسن وبحق الحسين وأنت قديم الإحسان وبحق الأئمة التسعة الطاهرين من ذرية الحسين عليهم السلام
اللهم صل على محمد
Right. Put the light on my face. Fatiha. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق الصلاة والسلام على رسول الثقلين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين أبي القاسم محمد
اللهم صل على محمد
وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن يخرج من بيته مهاجرا إلى الله ورسوله ثم يدركه الموت فقد وقع أجره على الله وكان الله غفورا رحيم. Please pray one salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد
A little aloud.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
This is a little, slack time, slumber time for people. So when I feel that, everybody around me is getting very relaxed and dedicated with listening to me and trying to meditate, I also become meditated. Okay. So the verse which I have been continually playing in front of you is the one who leaves his house and travels towards Allah and His Messenger, and then death overtakes him, then surely his reward is with his Allah, and Allah is most forgiving, merciful. And we have taken this verse for Salat and a spiritual Salat. What is a spiritual Salat? It is a Salat of the elite. We can much hear about it, we can much read about it, but to practice it, it's not that you cannot practice it, but it is difficult. You have to dedicate yourself. Lot of concentration, lot of dedication. It takes you time. But this I can guarantee. Okay, once you cross that, that difficult part, then comes the ease. As Allah says in the Quran, وَإِنَّ الْمَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. After difficulty is ease. Surely with after difficulty is ease. So when you cross that difficult part, that barrier, and you come towards an understanding with all your meditation and all your concentrations, when you learn the meanings of the verses. And I did offer y'all that I'm ready to teach y'all. If y'all really want to learn how to meditate, or how to know to learn the translation, not that it is there all over on the internet, you get books available, you can learn the verses of the Quran. It's not difficult at all. At least those surahs and those phrases which you used in the namaz, then only when you understand it and you pray it, then only you get into the depth of it. Otherwise, and this depth is, it is, otherwise you're just swimming on top. If you do not achieve the depth of salat, then actually you have not tasted worship. And worship is really something, it has got a taste. As Allah says in the Quran that every soul tastes death. In the same way, every soul also tastes worship. Because, Prophet Jesus says that as a man who is sick cannot get the real taste of food, so the man who is negligent in his worship does not get the taste of worship. So if you really want to get the taste of worship and meet your God, then salat is the way that you have to achieve it. Now we are talking about the spirituality of it, because Allah made the Prophet go on to Miraj, and he ascended to the highest level. Beyond that, there was no highness. Ultimate he went to. So naturally, if that is what is our namazes, it's a reflection of that. The namaz, he said, the miraj of a moment is the namaz. So you will also attain the zenith of your life only through it. Now you have to understand what the Prophet has done over there and what actually you do. According to Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam, he is the 11th Imam. Quran is actually light. Because we are over here, we have to read it. But if you go in the world of light, it is a Quran is ever there and will be ever there. It's eternal. So it is not in the form of a book. It is in the form of light. And the words, whatever words you are using, you're using light. These are the sources of light that you are using. So as you can make your light as powerful as you want, with your faith and with your attention into it. It is in one of the surahs, it is said that your light will run ahead of you and on your right hand side on the day of judgment. What is this light Allah talking about? This is that light which you are earning in this world. You earn it through the Quran. You earn it through the holy words, the salawat which you pray, the surahs you pray, the hifz you do. All the time that you want to pray the Quran, you are just, collecting light and light. And light never holds. You never understand. You never see. But these are energies. Light is an energy which starts rising. And Imam Hassan Askari alayhi salam says it lights, the light of the Salat, it moves like very fast horses. Like very fast horses. So as soon as you start praying, you are creating light that is moving above. And light spreads, if you understand. It spreads. So when it is you are praying the light, you are using the light as your namaz, and it is just moving up and it is spreading. So it is going this way, elevating, as well as it is expanding this way. So now, how much space do you get depends upon the strength of your namaz. Everybody will get light, but how much more are you getting? It depends upon how much strength you use in your namaz. So it is spreading this way and it is spreading that way. And once it enters into space, this energy, light is never created nor destroyed. It just goes on moving and moving and moving and expanding and expanding and then expanding till it meets you on the day of judgment. And then you'll see the light, the space covered. How much space that light had covered. So the more space you cover, the light covers, the more powerful is your salat. That is how it is going to help you on your day of judgment. These are pure light energies which are going to make you move ahead, because that is going to be a time of 50,000 worldly years into one single year of the eternity. So you are also going to need those many light energies. So as soon as it goes and expanding, now you have done your Zohar, it's gone away. Now you'll do your Asr. It will again start rising and it will go and join your Zohar. Again, they will start expanding. Then you'll pray your Maghrib. It's gone into the heavens. Now, again, you pray your Maghrib. Again, it starts. Where whatever goes into the space, you all know, it remains. It is very, very scientific. So like that, it goes and goes. So you can imagine one light joining the other light joining the other. It's going to be layers and layers and layers and layers of light for you. So when you stand on that day, which is going to be equivalent to 50,000 worldly years, you can imagine that how much light you have acquired, and you're going to need it to move ahead. That's why Allah says, towards your right and towards your front. It's going to help you move ahead. Now, the light. Why did I say the light? You earn light when you say your prayers. Acknowledge it, do not acknowledge it, or whether you know it or whether you do not know it. And then what happens is, when the Prophet was called for Miraj, didn't I say it was just, what are we doing? We are just, copying whatever he did, like a reflection. Okay, so when Prophet was called, it was said, the word that was used, the first verse of Surah Bani Israel, where it was used, Isra be Abdihi. That very fast, his Abd is his worshipper, Allah's worshipper. So he took his worshipper very fast. So in that same way, our light cannot be that fast or anything like that. He is the here Allah has created him with his own light, just by taking his name, because he's a personality of light. We are creating light, what he has taught us. So now when he went, Allah called him as an abd. When he went, abd means the physical self and the spiritual self. Okay, if he would go only in his spirit, then it would be his nur that Allah takes, or he would call him Nabi or something else. But when he calls Abd, which is derived from Ibadat, okay, it says Abd means the body also and the soul also. And he went right in the same way we go, much lesser on the lowest, we are on the scale, he is on the highest scale. And as he was moving ahead in his Miraj, ascending and ascending and ascending, there's a surah in the Quran called Ma'arij, which is the plural of Miraj. It is the plural of many ascensions. Okay, so Prophet, we said he went to Miraj, but actually I say that he came from Miraj to help us, to guide us. That is his status. That is his status. So when he went in his physical form, there are many things in the hadiths that come about Miraj, which say that he is in his was in his present form, but because at one place when he wanted to remove his shoes, Allah had told him, come in with your shoes. So that is also gives you a claim that he went with his physical self. Now Salabi relates that when the Prophet was going up the skies and heavens, crossing one after the other, the Jibrail was holding his burak, the horse. He was holding his burak, and Rasul Khuda was physically sitting on it, and he had a veil of light on his face. And in this way he met all the angels and prophets and messengers. And when he met all the messengers over there. Okay, over there he met all the messengers. Then Allah recreated one ayat over there, and that was what, when he met everybody had done his musafiha and everybody had prayed with him the namaz, then Allah said, turn towards them. Allah commanded him, okay, turn towards them. So when he turned towards them, he said, now ask them. Now ask them that why were they given prophethoods? Why were they given messengerships? Why were they given these status from Allah, special stati of messengerships? So he turns towards them and he asks them, okay, why were you all given your messengerships, your holy scriptures, your sciences, and whatever status that Allah has bestowed upon you? So they all said, lift up this veil of light and we will answer you. So finally the Prophet lifts up his veil and they start praying one salawat on him. And this was his light, the light which Allah created him with. That's why he had put a veil upon it, so that they could recognize that, okay, what happened on the day when Allah had all called them. And Allah had said that I have chosen you over other nations as a witness, and I have chosen Muhammad as a witness upon you. So they said, that was the ayat which I'm talking about. And they said that we were given the messengership because we said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, Ashhadu anna Aliyun Waliullah. One salawat on Muhammad and Wale Muhammad. And then he goes ahead. He goes ahead where nobody knows. And even the chief of all the angels was asked to stay behind, where he went. And where he went into the ocean of light where nobody had stepped into. And as he would take a step, he would cross 50,000 years. As Allah would say, come closer. And Allah said this to him 1,000 times. Come closer. That is the difference between his namaz and our namaz. We say qurbatan ilallah. We need the qurbatan of Allah. There Allah is asking him to come closer to him. And he went, and that particular point, when it was explained in the Quran as Qab Qausain. Qab Qausain. Qab Qausain is the state of Rasulullah's sajda. That is the state of his sajda. That is the epitome of the Miraj, the last part of Miraj. And when, Allah started speaking to Rasulullah, Allah said, okay, he said, he had given, sorry, one salawat on Muhammad and Wale Muhammad. Allah spoke to him about many things, because Allah said, he had called his abd over there to show him all the signs. But what Allah said? Allah asked him, and Allah started speaking to him. Allah spoke in the voice of Maula Ali. You all know that, and everybody praised that. All the big ulamas and zakir. So when he heard the voice of Ali, he asked Allah. Rasulullah asked him, okay, are you speaking to me, or is Ali speaking to me? So Allah answered that when I looked into your heart, I saw that your heart is filled with the love of Ali. So since he was the guest of Allah, and Allah wanted him to be very pleased and happy, he spoke to him in the voice of Ali. And then he gave 3 titles to Maula Ali over there. And those 3 titles are Sayyidul Muslimin, Sayyidul Mu'minin, Imamul Muttaqin, and Qaidul Gharrul Muhajjalin. Sayyidul Mu'minin means all those moments, all the moments who believe in Maula Ali, who believe in the Teen Shahadat are moments. So he said, he is the leader of all the Mu'minins. But where it comes to the Imam, where he will stand for them, for the Shafaat, they are the Muttaqeen. He is the Imam of the Muttaqeen. And then, how Allah in all the 3 ways, he related humanity to Maula Ali. And he said, Qaid means the chief, the leader. Qaidul Gharrul Muhajjalin. He is the chief or the leader of the people with shining faces. And who are going to have shining faces on that day? The people who say their Salat. They are going to have very, very shiny faces on that day. And then, what happened was, Allah said, over here in that place, he said, there is only me and you. Then Allah repeated. He said, over here, there is only me and you. And then again he said, okay, over here, there is only me and you. 3 times Allah said. And the 4th time Allah says, I have created whatever I have created. I have created whatever I have created for you. And then after this, Rasulullah answers. That is the point of epitome when he goes down, which is called 2 Qab. You know what is Qab? Qab is a single arc, and Qabain is a double arc. So when you go for a sajda, you are a double arc. So naturally, that is why it's called Qab Qausain. So he went into the sajda. And he said, I have left whatever you created for me, for you. I have left everything you created for you. One salawat on Muhammad. So that was the ultimate sajda. He said, I created everything for you. And he answers back that I have left everything for you. I want only you. I want only you. And these were the words which Imam Hussain said. when he did his sajda, last sajda in Ashura. He said, everything you have created, I have left it for you. I don't want anything. We leave, what do we leave for namaz? What do we leave for namaz? What people leave? People leave the evil things to come to good things. The namaz of Imam Hussain is he left his family. He left his hometown. He left his children. Left means he sacrificed them. That is the ultimate. That is the Miraj. And his Miraj was, of course, shown to everybody. That when Rasulullah, the messenger who has got the status of Kaab Hussain, when he goes down in the sajda, every time that he goes into the sajda, he meets God in that position. Kaab Hussain. When he was in that position, Imam Hussain was on his back. And Rasulullah went on prolonging his sajda until he repeated it for 72 times. And the people who had never, had such a prolonged sajda, the Muslims who were praying behind him, would every time get up and look at what has happened to the Prophet. And every time they would see, Imam Hussain was sitting by facing the Jamaat on his back. So every time they would get up, they would see that Hussain is sitting on his back, and they would go down in the sajda. They could go down in the sajda. And for this reason, it is very significant. It is very significant. Rasulullah has said that Husainu minni wa ana min al Husain. Rasulullah reached the Miraj in the highest heavens. And Imam Hussain reached the Miraj, the sajda in this world. Allah, that they combined that. The Miraj of Imam Hussain and the Miraj of Rasulullah. When as a small boy, he had climbed up on his back. And because he repeated 72 times, Subhana Rabbiyal Ala wa bihamdi, those many, it is totally, significant for that he gave 72. There were 72 sacrifices on the day of Ashura. And the whole day of Ashura for Imam Hussain, like the whole stances of Rasulullah, as he was going one height after the other. Sometimes it was translated as ruku, sometimes as qiyam, all his levels. It actually, stances means levels. So as he was going up and up, he was meeting the people, he was meeting the prophets, he was meeting the angels, he was seeing the angels, he was seeing the signs of Allah, he was seeing the heavens and the hell. But for us, those became the stances that we do over here. It became the qiyam, it became the ruku, it became the sajda, it became the qunut, it became the tashahud. All these things, his miraj was translated as our sajda. So that is how it is said, and Momin's miraj is the namaz, is the salat. So now, Imam Hussain also, the full day of Ashura was like a salat for him. It started with what? It started with Azan Ali Akbar. You all know it, am I right or no? And everybody wanted that day that Rasulullah, that Janabi Ali Akbar should say the Azan, because he, the one who looks like Rasulullah and says Ashhadu Anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, then any other person saying are totally different. And because of the thirst, when he started saying the Azan, and the women folk, they all loved, of the house of the Ahlul Bayt, they loved when Ali Akbar said the Azan. And they knew that this is going to be the last Azan. So Imam Hussain al-Islam specially requested Ali Akbar to say the Azan that day, because his face would be representing Muhammadur Rasulullah. He looked exactly like him. So when he stood for Azan and he started saying his Azan because of the thirst, his voice wouldn't go up, and not all the ladies could hear it. And Bibi Zainab said to her brother Imam Hussein alayhi salam that I cannot hear the voice of Ali Akbar. Tell him to recite the azan louder. And when Imam Hussein goes towards Ali Akbar and he says, recite your azan a little louder so that my sister can hear it in her tent. So Ali Akbar told him, he said, because, see the holiness in the heart. Whenever you are one with God, you see all relationships. Because humanity is not, you cannot be separated. The creations cannot be separated from the Creator. And you have to love them to love your Lord. He loves them all. Doesn't Rumi says, I love this world because this world belongs to Allah. So that's what it is. So now when he said my sister can hear it, can you be a little loud, Ali Akbar? He said, yes, father. You are an imam and I want a miracle from you today. I want you to make my voice so loud that your sister can hear in the tent and my sister can hear it in Medina. And that is what had happened. When he had started, staying the azan aloud, and Bibi Sogra, who was sleeping at that time, suddenly she heard the voice of Ali Akbar and she ran towards the door. And she said, my brother is come. My brother is come. And then her grandmother and her great grandmother, they brought her back to the bed. So this is how the day of Ashura began, with the azan. And as he was going on giving the qurbanis of each and everybody, it was like all his stances, unless he came to the most important stance, which I prayed day before yesterday in front of you all. That was the ruku. And that was when did he bend over like that? And he said, oh Ali Akbar, my back has broken. And he doubled up. And you double up when you do your ruku. So that is what it was. Then after ruku, it was, namaz is going higher and higher. Miraj is going higher and higher. And then afterwards, it was the shahadat of Janabi Ali Akbar. And then Janabi Ali Akbar, he went in such a state that he was crawling and going, and then after that, it was his own shahadat. It was his own shahadat. And when he fell down from the horse and he went into the sajda, these were the words he had said. That what Rasulullah said in the Miraj, that was his Miraj in the heavens. This is my Miraj on the earth. And Allah liked those words and that sajda of Imam Hussein so much that he made that earth of Karbala as a place of heaven. And he called out to Imam Hussein what we read in Surah Fajr, O soul that art at peace, return to your Lord, well pleasing him, well pleased with him. Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutma'inna irja'i ila rabbiki raziyatan marziya. Fadkhuli ibadi fadkhuli jannati. Come on. Enter into my paradise. So those were the last words. But before that, because today being the shahadat of Janabe Ali Akbar, and it was such a tragedy in the house of Ahlul Bayt, they thought that they have lost the Prophet for the second time. And when he went into the battlefield, Imam Hussein made him wear the turban of Rasulullah. He was guiding his people till the last. He made him wear the turban of Rasulullah. And when he entered the battle wearing that turban, everybody, stood in the enemy camp and they started looking at it. The old commanders, and the old soldiers, they were thinking that this is Rasulullah who has come. He said he looks exactly like Rasulullah. The only difference is the age factor. And not only that, they, because they had seen him loving Hussein. They had seen Rasulullah loving Hussein, kissing him, carrying him on his shoulder, on the, in the lanes, picking up when he fell down and taking him back on the member. So they had seen him all. And when he started talking about his father in the battlefield, he started saying, why do you want to kill my father Hussein? Why you want to kill my father Hussein? Wasn't he the favorite of your prophet? Aren't you praying his kalma? What has he done to you all? What wrong has he done? He is the imam of this time. He is the hujjat of this time. He is a wonderful person. He never hurts anybody. He is perfect for your guidance. Why do you want to, why do you want to kill him? He is the son of Fatima, who was the daughter of Rasul. He is the son of Ali, who is Amir of the Mu'mineen. Why do you want to kill? And when people started hearing him, they thought that here they are hearing the voice of Rasulullah. They thought they are hearing the voice of Rasulullah, but Umar Saad was a very evil man. Whenever his soldiers got this, feeling of some goodness or attachment to Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, he immediately, overtook their thoughts and he made them do things what he wanted to do. He bribed them with heavy rewards. And he said, Yazid is going to give you this, and Yazid is going to give you lands and cities and gold and silver if you're going to do this. And they came to fight with him, with Janabi Ali Akbar. And before sending him, it was such a sad thing that before sending him away, that is what Imam Hussain had said, Allah, be my witness. Be my witness that I'm sending now on your path to die the one who resembles Muhammad, the one who resembles your favorite. And it meant that if they would have loved Rasulullah, they would never have killed him. It is so natural that if there are a person has got 3 children, and the one daughter resembles his mother, the father's mother. Everybody loves their child equally, but suddenly that love for that, it creates a special bond because she looks like his mother. The same way as Imam Hussain said, I cannot take you to Bibi Sohra, that you resemble my mother, and I don't want somebody to see even somebody who is like my mother. So that is also a special bond. So we also have these special bonds. So now naturally Imam Hussain was telling them that if they killed him, who looks exactly like Rasulullah, has the turban of Rasulullah on his head, means that they are not Muslims. They are just saying Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. And they killing Janabi Ali Asghar means that they are not even human beings. Even, sometimes you may have seen that, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing that when the mothers of some creatures, some animals die, the others take over and they look after the babies because they want the babies to grow up, give them a chance to live. What sort of people they were? What sort of people they were? And the other day I was reading the Brahm Uttarakhand. In it was written, in appearance, they are going to kill the 2 princes of the Kalki avatar. They are going to kill the 2 princes of his daughter's sons, his grandsons, which he loves more than his daughter. And saying they who are going to kill them will say that they are Muslims. and they will be many in numbers, but they are not going to be actually Muslims. They are not going to be the actual believers of this avatar. So naturally, we say, we see so many people around us. How many do come to mourn for the Prophet's family, whose kalma you pray? And if whose kalma you do not pray, you are not a Muslim. Your namaz is not accepted. Your faith is not accepted. And when, Janabi Ali Akbar called out to him when he fell from the horse, he knew that his father cannot come to help him. He is all alone and he is very tired and he is old. Therefore, when he fell down, he just said, "Salam on you, O my father." And as soon as Imam Hussein heard this voice, his eyes became dimmed, blinded. He couldn't see anything. He couldn't see anything, and he fell down on his knees, and he was in such a hurry to reach his son that he would get up and start running and again fall down. He would get up and start running and again fall down. He would get up, and it happened so many times that finally Imam Hussein al-Islam, he reached his father on his to his son on his force. And what did he see? As soon as he saw that he was bathed in blood, Janabi Ali Akbar was bathed in blood. What father can see this? What did he do? He kept his face upon his face, cheek to cheek. He started kissing. He said, "What has happened to you, my son? What is bothering you?" He had his hand on his chest. He says, "Nothing has happened to me, my father." Imam Hussain said, "I'm an Imam. I know what has happened to you. Remove your hand from your chest so that I can relieve you of your pain." You know what has happened? The lance which he had been hit from behind. Nobody could come in front of Ali Akbar because he was a very good soldier. Nobody could. All his tactics were learned by his uncle Abbas. Nobody could come from front. And somebody hid behind the tree, and they hid the lance, so hard that it entered in the chest and it broke. And he fell down like that on the horse. And then from the horse to the ground when he called out to his father. And because of that immense pain, he was a young boy of 18 years. Because of that immense pain, his breath was neither going away nor was it coming inside. He was in so much of pain. And who saw this pain? Father saw this pain. It has been, Rasulullah in his Shariat says that if a young boy dies, keep the father away from his body because the father cannot see it. So, what type of people were these who did this, that the father could see this? What he went through, we can never imagine. But yes, there was nobody else to do it. Nobody else to do it. And Imam had to do that. And it was, we call him the Sabir, the patient one. This is the patient one he was, that he removed the broken lance from his son's heart, and it was stuck over there. You had to put pressure. Because of that, he put one hand on the ground, and the other hand he kept with the cap. He caught the lance, and he started saying, "Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali." Oh, my father. Oh, my father, you have taken, you have broken the doors of Khaybar. You have fought so many wars. Come and see what Hussein is doing. Come and see what Hussein is doing. And as he pulls out the broken lance, a fountain of blood comes out of the heart of Ali Akbar, and it drains the father. The soul passes away. Hussein is all alone in Karbala now. Nobody to help him to take the young son into the tent. He starts calling the children. Oh, the children of Bani Hashim, come, help me pick up this body of Ali Akbar. I am too old to do it. And in this way, the body of Ali Akbar was carried into the tent. And when it was carried into the tent, wasn't that reading in the morning? That the heart of an imam has the mother's love and the father's love and the imam's love. So when they feel much more than a father, a mother, whatever. So you can imagine his feelings. At that time, it was not possible for him to remember anything. But when he looked around, he saw that the mother of Ali Akbar is not there. He calls Fizza and he says, "Where is Leila? Please get her so that she can see the sun in this last stage." And when Fizza goes to the tent of Bibi Laila, what does she see? She saw that Leila is going around the tent. Bibi Leila is going around the tent as if she is become blind and she cannot find the door to the tent. Fizza went and said, "What is wrong with you? Oh, princess." She says, "I have heard that Ali Akbar has gone away and my eyes have lost the sight. Please take me to his body." I also want to do the ziyarat of Rasulullah for the last time. Alalatullahi alal qawm az-zalimin. Allahumma rzuqna fid dunya ziyaratil Hussein wa fil akhirati shafa'atil Hussein. I pray to Bibi Zainab to accept this azadari, this pursa, where we sat together to mourn for her dear son. I appeal to her to take these tears in a handkerchief. I appeal that who the lady of the Azadari and the family of the Azadari, may baby keep her protective shadow always over them and bless them with everything that is good and beyond. गम कोई न दे हमको सिवाए गम शब्बीर, शब्बीर का गम बांट रहा है तो इधर दे मातम हुसैन. हाँ उधर मातम कर. So I'll put this on. Should we take it there? Then Meena should not see. Why you closed? Let's take this over there.
Okay.
From here.
You're here.
Hussein, 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 Hussein. Hussein, 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 Hussein.
قرآن دے رہا تھا، قرآن دے رہا تھا، اسلام کی گواہی تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی تنہا نہ اٹھ سکے گا، لاشا جواں پہ سر کا تنہا نہ اٹھ سکے گا، لاشا جواں پہ سر کا، ٹھہرو سہارا لینے، ٹھہرو سہارا لینے، میں آ رہی ہوں بھائی، تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی، شبیر کھا رہے تھے ہر ہر قدم پہ ٹھوکر، شبیر کھا رہے تھے ہر ہر قدم پہ ٹھوکر، گھبرا کے بنت زہرا، گھبرا کے بنت زہرا، خیمے کے در پہ آئی، تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی، سینہ چھدا ہوا ہے، زخموں سے خون ہے جاری، سینہ چھدا ہوا ہے، زخموں سے خون ہے جاری، ہم شاہ مصطفیٰ کی، ہم شاہ مصطفیٰ کی صورت ہے یہ بنائی، تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی، دیکھا جو سر برہنا زینب کو شاہدی نے، دیکھا جو سر برہنا زینب کو شاہدی نے، مظلوم کربلا نے، مظلوم کربلا نے اپنی ہوا اڑائی، تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی، شبیر دے چکے ہیں کس کی مجال چھینے، شبیر دے چکے ہیں کس کی مجال چھینے، عباس کا علام ہے، عباس کا علام ہے، عباس کی ترائی، تنہا پسر کی میاں، جب شاہ نے اٹھائی، پیکان ہرملانے جب بڑھ کے لوریاں دی پیکان ہرملانے جب بڑھ کے لوریاں دی آغوش میں پدر کی آغوش میں پدر کی اصغر کو نیند آئی تنہا پسر کی نیا جب شاہ نے اٹھائی غر کے نصیب میں تھی اللہ یہ بلندی غر کے نصیب میں تھی اللہ یہ بلندی مظلوم کربلا کے مظلوم کربلا کے دانوں پہ نیند آئی تنہا پسر کی میاں جب شاہ نے اٹھائی قرآن دے رہا تھا قرآن دے رہا تھا اسلام کی گواہی یا سکینہ یا باز یا سکینہ یا باز یا سکینہ یا باز یا سکینہ یا باز یا سیدی یا باز یا ابوالفضل عباس یا سیدی یا باز یا ابوالفضل عباس یا زینب یا حسین یا ابوالفضل عباس یا زینب یا حسین یا ابوالفضل عباس یا سکینہ یا باز یا ابوالفضل عباس یا سکینہ یا باز یا ابوالفضل عباس علی مولا حیدر مولا علی مولا حیدر مولا علی مولا حیدر مولا فریاد یا محمد فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد یا محمد فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد علی مرتضی فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد علی مرتضی فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد جناب فاطمہ فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد جناب فاطمہ فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد حسن مجتبی فریاد یا شیر خدا فریاد حسن مجتبی فریاد یا شیر خدا یا حسین 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 بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکم عبداللہ السلام علیکم ابن رسول اللہ السلام علیکم ابن امیر المومنین و ابن سید الوصیین السلام علیکم یا ابن فاطمہ الزہراء سیدۃ النساء العالمین السلام علیکم یا علی اکبر ابن الحسین قاسم ابن الحسن والمسلم بن عقیل وہانی بن عروہ وحبیب ابن مظاہر والحور شہید ریاحی السلام علیکم تمام ساداتی موالی جامعین ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکم غریبان مولا بے کسان بادشاہ خراسان زامنان یتیمان السلام علیکم علی ابن مولا السلام علیکم غریب الغرباء السلام علیکم معین الضعفاء والفقراء السلطان بالحسن یا علی ابن مسیر رضا روحی وجسم لک الفدا ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ السلام علیکم امام مہدی صاحب العصر والزمان علیہ السلام الامان 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 السلام علیکم ابن امام حسن عسکری علیہ السلام السلام علیکم خلیفۃ الرحمن السلام علیکم امام الانس والجان السلام علیکم شریک القرآن السلام علیکم مظہر الایمان السلام علیکم امام زماننا ھذا جل اللہ تعالی فرجک وسال اللہ تعالی مخرجک وظہورک السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد
نعرہ حیدری
یا علی